Hello and welcome to an early look at the Solasta II character creator. And thank you to Tactical Adventures for providing me with a way to take an early look and record it to show you all before early access launches on March 12th for PC. Console players, you'll just have to wait until 1.0 or possibly later. I'm not sure what their plan is for that as of right now. But let's go ahead and click on New Adventure. You'll notice that I first have a choice of difficulty mode for the game, and the game is launching into early access with just two choices. Authentic is basically just normal, rules as written, and Explorer is a bit easier of a mode, but this doesn't matter because we're focusing on the character creator, of course. And the first thing that you're going to notice is that we have 4 character slots here, because like Solasta 1, Solasta 2 is a game where you play a customizable party of 4. Now with that said, you can use presets for all of the characters if you want, or you can create 1 or 2 and then use presets for the other 2. It's really up to you. If I click Fill Party right here, you can see 4 randomized characters were just created for me. But we're going to go ahead and actually create a character here. So I'm going to delete Jody. I'm sorry, Jody. And you notice we have 3 different choices here. Quick creation, which is a really quick way to create a character. All you do is choose your class, ancestry, and background, and the game will set your ability scores and your proficiencies accordingly. Advanced creation, just a lot more into the nitty-gritty, and I'll be going over all of this here shortly. And then we also have select pre-made with 6 different pre-made characters, each of which represents one of the 6 classes that are in the game at the start of early access, with more to come, of course. Let's go ahead and start with quick creation. So for classes in early access at the launch, we have the cleric class, we have the fighter class, the paladin, the rogue, the sorcerer, and the wizard. Now for ancestry, which like I said before is basically your racial choice, we have dwarf, elf, halfling, and human as well. And then your background choice, we have academic, acolyte, aristocrat, artist, ascetic, lawkeeper, lowlife, occultist, philosopher, sellsword, spy, and wanderer. And you'll have noticed that as I made these choices, different things are set for my character. So your class choice, for example, is going to automatically set your ability scores in a way that at least somewhat makes sense for your chosen class. For example, the fighter has strength, dex, and con as a little bit of a focus, while the paladin is strength, con, and then also charisma. Like I said before, you can edit these at any time by going into advanced creation, but we're going to be focusing on just the quick creator for a few minutes here. Your ancestry choice will set some of your skill proficiencies and different things that come with different racial choices like dark vision. And your background choice is going to give you the ability to have a boost in certain abilities. So for example, the wanderer can go a little bit higher with strength, dex, and con than someone who's playing as an academic, which gets a boost in dex, con, and intelligence. Your background choice also sets your proficiencies, your skill proficiencies, your non-combat skill proficiencies, and your background features, which vary from background to background and can include gaining more proficiency, even gaining extra cantrip choices. So I could just jump into the game right now if I wanted to, but we're of course going to edit our character's appearance first and then get into the advanced creation, which I think a lot of you guys are actually here for. But to edit your character's appearance, all I have to do is just click on the character over here on the left side of the screen, and this brings us into the character appearance customization, of which we have body, face, hair, makeup, and identity. So for body, we have 2 different body shapes. Let me zoom out a little bit. You can see that we have this body shape and then this one. Basically, male looking body and female looking body. One kind of has boobs and one has more of a muscular chest, I guess you could say. Then we have different head presets if you don't want to edit everything yourself. But one cool feature that I like about this is that what you can do is you can choose 3 different face presets and then kind of merge them together. So if we go into shape blending here, you can see I can set different presets on all 3 and then move this dot right here closer to one face or further away from another. As you can see, his face is kind of morphing a little bit. But below the head, we have different skin color choices. You, of course, have, presets that will do it all for you, but then you can also do everything on your own, from the tint to the brightness, saturation. There's even a vitiligo slider right here, as you can see. Let's go ahead and move on to the face. And here we have preset for eye color. There's some pretty cool eye colors in this game. You can do heterochromia if you want to have one eye slightly different from the other. I always like when games have this option. As you can see right there, you can make some cool looking characters, but a ton of different settings here that you can customize yourself as well if you really want to get into the little details. As you can see right here, his iris changing brightness. And then down below that we have wrinkles. We have the preset for the wrinkles, of course, if you want to age your character a little bit, along with some actual individual customization that you can do. Wrinkles depth. We have freckle settings and moles. We have different scar settings, which I think is always great to have in an RPG character creator. And you do have the ability to actually move the scars around, as you can see right here. I really appreciate when games include this. I always like to place scars in specific areas. So that looks nice. And then we can rotate the scar, change the scar color and all of that. And then there's also face art, which is kind of like tattoos or paintings and stuff like that. And you can also move these around, rotate them, change their color and all that good stuff. But on to the hair options. We have 21 different hair presets here. I think some of them were a little bit buggy according to the email as of right now, but just kind of flipping through them, a couple of them really quickly. You have a bunch of different options. Let me zoom out a little bit. Just going to go with this like Viking-esque haircut right here. And of course, this is early access, so provide your feedback when you guys get your hands on this. You know, let Tactical Adventures know what's missing or what you're looking for. We, of course, have plenty of different beards to choose from. You can do just only a mustache if you want, but there is some thick beards, so I appreciate the devs including that. As you can see right here, it's getting thicker. It's clipping into the armor a little bit, but there's some decent beard options, I would say. We'll just settle on that one for now. And we have different eyebrow presets, eyebrow shape, positioning for the eyebrows. It's a lot more advanced than the first Solasta. It also looks a lot better as well. Then we have different hair colors, of course. This is actually pretty cool because you can do all sorts of different things here, like change the color of the root of the hair. You have different highlights. You can do 2 highlights at once. You can highlight the beard if you want to. You can change the tip color. You can see right here, we're kind of getting like a red tint to it right there. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with your hair, which is always appreciated. And then you can also, of course, match the beard if you want, so you don't have to customize both of them. Then we have a makeup category here, a bunch of different presets, as you can see right here. I'm not going to get too much into this, but you can see you can do, the glitter, the color, all that stuff like that. You have blush, so different blush settings if you want to blush up your character, different highlighters, different lipstick, stuff that I typically don't mess with myself, but some of you guys I'm sure will get use out of that. And then the last tab in the character creator is the identity tab. This is where you name your character. Now you'll notice that the last name you can't actually change, and the reason for that is because you're playing a game where you are a sibling among many siblings. You all come from the same orphanage, and therefore we're given the same last name. So you have customization over your first name, but not your last name. All of the siblings in this game, all of your siblings, will share that last name, which kind of brings you guys together as family. And then we also have personality choice right here, pronoun choice. I know that one's a little bit controversial at times, but I'm not here to tell you how to think. This is a choice in this game, so do what you got to do with it. And then voice as well, and there's 4 different voices to choose from. I'll just let one of them play or 2 of them play.
This is the place.
And then we'll go to voice 4.
You must need help with something.
So you have 2 deeper voices and then 2 higher pitch voices. But the personality here is actually an important choice, because what this really will do is it's going to determine the type of answers that will be proposed during interactive discussions with NPCs. It's your speech style and your tone. We have caregiver, everyman, hero, innocent, jester, outlaw, outlaw, ruler, and sage. So sage, for example, says the sage is curious, almost nosy, and talkative. So your character's personality is going to be determined by this. Now keep in mind, you have a party of 4 and you can customize all their personalities. So knock yourself out and have an interesting combination. But let's go ahead and head back to the character creator and get into the advanced settings. So to get into the advanced creator, we're going to click on the box down here, advanced creation, and you can see we have several more tabs now for more customization and more understanding of our choices. So we have the class tab, followed by ancestry, background, abilities, your ability scores, proficiencies, and spells. Don't have to go over every single class here because I already kind of talked about it, but you'll notice that in the advanced creator you can just see a lot more information on what a class actually comes with. You can see the hit die if you want to get into all the little number details, your saving throw proficiencies, all that good stuff, your class features that you get as a paladin. And at the very bottom, we have your starting equipment, which does vary from class to class slightly. But as you progress, of course, you'll be able to, change your weapon if you want, if you're proficient in other weapons, etc. I should also point out that 2 of the classes here actually have some more choices to make right on the class tab. So the cleric down here at the bottom chooses a divine order, and you get to choose between protector and also thaumaturgy. The fighter gets to choose fighting style, archery, defense, great weapon fighting, shielding, and 2 weapon fighting. And none of the other classes have any other choices under the class tab. Specifically, some of you might be wondering, where are the subclass choices? Because clerics, sorcerers, and 5th edition rules, they get to choose their subclass right away at level 1. Well, Solasta II is working off of the updated D&D 5th edition, I think it's 2024 rule set, where all the classes don't get their subclass choice until level 3. Let's go ahead and move on to the Ancestry tab here, similar to what it was before, just with some more information on what you get with each of those Ancestry choices. Then we have your background choice, which I also already talked about. More information on your background choice. Each background, you'll notice, comes with starting equipment, letters from different characters. Ricard's actually one of your brothers in this game, but then if I choose artist, that actually comes with a letter from Nicholas, which I'm assuming is another one of your orphanage siblings. On to abilities. So Solasta in early access implements the point buy system. A lot of you guys might know this from Baldur's Gate 3, or of course if you play Dungeons and Dragons, and in the advanced creator you can set your points the way that you want to set them. As you spend points, it pulls it from the pool up here at the top, but keep in mind that the higher that you get into an ability, the more costly it is. So for example, going from 12 to 14 in strength uses up more than just 2 points. It actually uses up 3 from that pool. I'm just going to quickly set this in a way that somewhat represents a paladin. This doesn't really matter right now, but I'll do a guide on all of this at some point in the future, around the time early access comes out, and of course full release. But I have my ability scores set here in an alright way. You'll notice at the top though, there's a red triangle with an exclamation point telling me that I have not finished the abilities tab. You definitely want to click on that, and in this case I actually get to increase some ability scores here, and this is dependent on my background choice. So if you look at the aristocrat right here, the aristocrat has improved ability scores in strength, con, and charisma, which is perfect for the paladin if you want to optimize some of your ability scores. And then I get to actually put points into those 3. I have 3 points to spend here, so I could do strength 16 and then up my con 1. Obviously you don't want to leave odd numbers if you don't have to. I'm not worried about making it perfect right now, but you can spend these in any way that you want with those particular abilities. And let's go ahead and move on to the Proficiencies tab. Now, a lot of what is available here is dependent on your class and ancestry choice. So, playing as a paladin might look a little bit different than playing as a ranger. The skills that I'm actually able to become proficient in would be a little bit different. But my first choice here is to select 2 skills that I want to gain a proficiency bonus in, which would be +2 at this level. So let's say that I want my character to be good at intimidation and dialogue and maybe athletic strength checks. You can see that both of those increased by 2. And we move on to the next category here under proficiencies, and this is your weapon mastery proficiencies. Weapon mastery is not something that you would have experienced in the first Solasta. And one way to think of what this is in Baldur's Gate 3, when you have different weapons, they come with those extra weapon features that you get. If you're using a bow, for example, I think it has like a pin down shot or something. And this is completely weapon dependent. It has nothing to do with your class or anything like that. In this game, you actually get to choose what weapons you want to master. Of course, you want to choose ones that you're actually proficient in. So if I went over to, let's say, the rogue, and we went over to proficiencies, you'll notice that there's not nearly as many weapons to choose from because I'm not proficient in all of those weapons, while the paladin has way more choices. I'm just going to quickly scroll over all of these so you can start planning ahead if you want. You also get an idea as to what type of weapons are in the game. But the battle axe gets a weapon mastery called Topple. The club gets Slow, Dagger, Nick. Dart gets Vex. Great sword gets Graze. The great axe gets a Cleave. Hand crossbow gets Vex. The hand axe, Vex. Heavy crossbow gets a Push. The javelin gets a Slow. The light crossbow gets slow, light hammer gets nick, the long bow gets slow, the long sword gets sap, the mace gets sap, the maul gets topple, morning star sap, quarterstaff topple, rapier vex, scimitar is a nick, short bow vex, short sword vex, spear gets sap, and the warhammer gets push. I'll just choose great sword and sure heavy crossbow and we'll move on. And now I get to choose 2 languages that I want to be proficient in. Add a little extra RP touch to your run. You can learn Orc or Giant. And what this does is it unlocks interaction options with some NPCs or even objects in the game. So choose whatever sounds interesting to you. You know, being able to speak Giant sounds pretty cool, or even Orc as well. And our last choice that I have here with this character is choosing 1 more skill proficiency. Now, some of you guys might say, well, you already chose skill proficiencies earlier a few moments ago. Well, the reason why I get another choice is because I have skilled feat. So if you're wondering where something is coming from, if you look under each of these, you'll see the reason why I get to choose these proficiencies is from my paladin class choice. The reason why I get to choose weapon masteries out of this list is because of my paladin choice. And then the language choices are because of dwarf ancestry. And then I get to choose another skill proficiency because of skilled feat. So let's just go ahead and put it in performance, but this is going to vary depending on your choices that you made earlier on in the character creator. And the final tab is the spells tab. And playing as this character and as the paladin class, I get to choose 2 spells from the paladin spell list that I want to basically start the game with. The paladin's a prepared caster, so I can swap these in and out when resting. While if I were playing as like a sorcerer, the spell choice that you have to make here, the spell choices, is a little bit more permanent in nature. But as a paladin or a cleric, these are prepared spells, so it's not as serious of a choice. But you can see some of the spells that we have available at the start of early access. Let me go ahead and switch over to the wizard class so you can see even more. So as a wizard, I get to choose 3 cantrips and also spells. For cantrips, we have Acid Splash, Poison Spray, Annoying Bee, Ray of Frost, Chill Touch, Shadow Armor, Dazzle, Shadow Dagger, Firebolt, Shocking Grasp, Light, and True Strike. You can click Auto, and it will choose for you for pretty much all the choices here. And then for spells, we have Burning Hands, False Life, Mage Armor, Charm Person, Featherfall, Magic Missile, Chromatic Orb, Hideous Laughter, Protection from Good and Evil, Color Spray, Ice Knife, Ray of Sickness, Comprehend Languages, Identify, Shield, Expeditious Retreat, Long Strider, Sleep, and Thunder Wave. And of course, for the cleric, you know, it's going to be a little bit different as well. So now you can see WolfheartFPS, my completely customized character, is in the lineup here of my party of 4 with the 3 characters that were randomized, but I can of course go in and edit those or also delete them as well. Hope you guys enjoyed this early look at the Solasta II Early Access character creator. Like I said earlier, more classes to come, but this is the launch of Early Access. Major step up from the first game. Very excited to see where this game goes from here. And I'll see you guys live on my channel when Solasta II actually goes live into Early Access. I'll do a playthrough as a live stream series. I think it's only 10 to 15 hours of Early Access, while the full game is going to be 40 to 50 plus. But I'll live stream the Early Access to check it out with you guys and drop a couple videos. And then when 1.0 comes around, get a little bit more serious with it. I'll catch you all on the next one.